Good morning and welcome to the first women's quarterfinal for the day. It's day 3 of Div1 Nationals. My name is Oakley Mullen. I am joined here by Avril Tam. Avril, we have a cracker of a game lined up today.
Absolutely. As we've seen Rogue on the stream a couple of times already this tournament, they're looking really smooth, really clean on offense. First time we're seeing Factory on the stream, but I think they've been doing some good things to get to the quarterfinals.
I agree with you there. So here we have the schedule. It's up ahead, all the quarterfinals we have happening. So in the bottom right today, we have Factory and Rogue. They're going to be playing the winner of Ellipsis versus Chaos, which is happening on the Ampersand Chaos on the field behind us. So we'll try and give you those updates throughout the day and hopefully bring you any other updates from the other games and the other as they're unfolding.
Yeah, absolutely. And Chaos having to fight hard in the pre-quarter to get up against Ampersand, which is pretty impressive given that they went down. Yeah, especially because they actually finished last in the pool with no wins. So really impressive to get up against Zig.
So here's the Rogue lineup for today. We did see them on the stream yesterday afternoon as well. Going to be looking for big things from Rebecca Palmer, Angela Pigeon, Maddie Owens got really into it into the game yesterday. Raya Carpenter doing some big work for the team.
Yeah, for sure. I think they've got like multiple handlers. We spoke about them on the stream. If you stop one, there's going to be another one which pops up and dominates. So I think Rogue really having a very deep roster this season and certainly utilising all of their weapons.
That's correct. We did see some great dump D handling on the Rogue team, but it didn't matter because when you shut down one, there's just someone else that you have to worry about in the end.
Yeah, I think definitely when they got the blocks, having both Raya Carpenter and also Bex Palmer in the backfield just really solidified it. And we move on to the Factory Flash roster. You'll be looking to Thea Osmond, who's got a variety of shots in the handler space, as well as Liz DeHoog. They're captained by Lila Apple and Rosa Wang. Rosa Wang also pivotal in all of their lead-up tournaments. And Spirit captains Angie Toe and Evan Lim.
Probably expecting to see some big things from Hannah Monty. She's been a firetail a few times now, and she's so quick on her feet that shutting her down her deep options is really difficult to do.
Yeah, and Hannah really being able to do it on both sides of the disc as well. I suspect they're probably going to be, like you said, Oakley, using her more in the deep space given their handler skill set. But yeah, she's going to be one to stop if Rogue want to try and get up.
Greatly looking forward to this game. The conditions are perfect right now. The clouds have cleared. The sun has come out. It's exactly what we want to see. There is a slight breeze occurring, which on the from the stream, it's occurring from right to left. So as we've seen the whole weekend through now, trying to go from the left to the right of screen is considered the upwind, an upwind point, which, what we've seen so far, Avril, is it generally takes any team a good 3 to 4 points to settle in before they figure out what the wind's doing to try and break through and get that upwinder.
Yeah, absolutely. I think really getting those breakup wins will be pivotal in this game. So you can hear the sideline getting really active and getting really loud, which is what we've seen from Rogue all tournament. They'll be looking to continue all of that sideline support.
So Factory coming up with the pull from Thea Osmond. It's landing just past halfway and rolling back. The Factory D have settled in nicely, and Eunice Chung's picking up the disc. She immediately looks deep, and she's got Maddie Owens there.
In an acre of space, Maddie Owens. Easy one-throw score for Rogue.
What a way to start your, open the bank and start your offense. That's got to put a big spring in your step.
Absolutely, that would have been exactly what Rogue were looking for. Not the longest of pulls in that upwind direction, and Rogue capitalising really quickly on that.
So you saw on the replay there, Maddie Owens, she set up the horizontal stack was set up quite close to the disc, and what we can't see here but we see on the wider replay is she takes a really large step towards her defender before turning on her heels, throws the defender's weight onto the back of the foot, and then it means that the defender can't take off, drive into that as heavily, and then gets a really nice separation for that throw to go up.
Yeah, absolutely. The positioning was perfect to really open that backfield. I mean, Susan Deadman, who was defender, she's no slouch. But as you said, Oakley, getting her off balance, that's really made it quite easy for Owens to get in acres of space. Oh, as we see an unlucky turn by Factory, just bobbled out of the hands a little bit high as well.
So we have Rogue with the disc here. Oh, nice break around there. Erin Healy with the disc right now. Centers the disc back now. She's got no dump. Interesting offense there from Rogue. Nice around, overthrows. Oh, and it's brought down there.
I don't know how she managed to read that disc. It went through about 3 pairs of hands.
I think it was Branda Lamb. I didn't quite catch the number. There was a few people in the way, so apologies if I got that one wrong. You might be able to catch it on the replay.
Disc bobble but a little high, but as we spoke about this upwind direction, they'll be treasuring this break for sure. And as we see on the replay, she's faking, waiting for a good option. Up high. And yes, that does look like Lamb for the score. Number 25, Branda Lamb for Rogue getting it done.
Nice assist from Anna Lai there. She did, yeah, as we said, it did have a little bit of height on it, but it actually worked out in their favour because it went right over the Rogue defender who got up for it. Nice outstretched arms and right over her hands into the midst of Branda.
Yeah, and you can see the other Rogue players also just backing up in that space in case it just went a little bit longer and further than they thought.
Oh, big pull here from Bex Palmer. Beautiful amount of float on it. On the close sideline now with Blackburn.
They've got a junk look, Rogue.
Grange.
Plenty of pressure from Marks.
Oh, nice.
What a dive from Chua.
Oh, nice break. Puts it up deep. Scott Bailey under it and overthrows her.
That was really intense marking there. We saw Spirit Captain Alyssa Chua as well as Angelina Lee on those 2 points, putting plenty of pressure on those throws. It's a good look, just floated a little bit over the top with that slight lift from right to left.
Tamis centering to Chua, has Epstein with the disc in the centre of the field. She gets looking for a nice gainer, but overthrows Janacek there. Hannah Monty moving to the disc really quickly to get it moving. Finds Apple in the centre of the field.
Rogue setting up the jump set.
Sideline there with Kershaw. Oh, Apple.
Oh, lovely high grab. Factory working through Rogue's zone pretty well at the moment, although they're now setting up, trapping them on this close sideline. Looking for an open, and there goes the hammer by Grange. Oh, fantastic defense by Brio dos Santos Lee, getting up high again in that deep space early for Rogue.
It was well read. The look at the hammer was there, the space was available, but Rogue read that incredibly well. Bex Palmer now, slightly back in the end zone, hitting a nice gainer to Epstein. She's got a deep cut. She overlooks it though. Chua providing an under. Monty!
Fantastic defense, Factory. They're really bringing the intensity early in this game, showing that they want it just as much as Rogue.
Oh, Appel puts it up. Oh, beautiful there. Kershaw brings it down.
Factory doing really well in the deep space at the moment on that end of the field. Just reading the disc a little better than Rogue. As you see, a bit of a celebration, plenty of hips in that one.
I'm all about the celebration dances, Avril, and we've seen a few of them this weekend. And I think it just really adds to the happiness and the intensity and the adrenaline that you feel when you score after what can sometimes be a bit of a difficult point.
Yeah, definitely. I think the trick is also to try and keep your heads high, even when you haven't necessarily scored a goal. You know, when you played hard defense and you force those high throws, sometimes the other team just gets a bit lucky and they come off. So I think maintaining spirit, certainly Rogue feel to me to be a very vibey team. So let's see what they can do here on this 0-point upwind.
So Factory responding in kind to the Rogue upwinder. But Rogue are up a break now, so Factory will need to break this one to remain on serve.
Yeah, I know we're early in the game at the moment, Oakley, but certainly you don't want to let Rogue get away with a big lead early. We've seen a few times in this tournament, teams who get out to, 3 or 4 point margins, it's really, really difficult to call it back.
That's correct, and if you can try and avoid that in general, that's the best thing to do.
Yeah, stay in touch, keep the scoreboard pressure on.
Latamatos to Chung. Pigeon on this close sideline. Has Chung streaming down the line but overlooks her. Latamatos up the line as well but overlooks her. Finds Bub on a nice cross field. In the centre of the field now, Chung again. Doing a lot of work in this point.
Oh, just slips in and out of Maddie Owen's outstretched hands. Factory just doing enough here to get an opportunity to break back.
It was great pressure there from the defence. Forced them to throw some options that maybe weren't quite there. That's DeHoog now with Osmond in the centre of the field. Oh!
Fantastic anticipation by Eunice Chung. She gets horizontal.
That's great heads up D. Great work there from Rogue. They made quick work with that offense and that turn. Great heads up D from Eunice Chung to anticipate what was going to happen next.
Yeah, really well done. She realised that her player wasn't active and therefore she had license to really go for that perfect form on that layout as well. So that opportunity goes begging for Factory Flash. That was their opportunity to peg back that break, but they're going to have to do it tough with this upwind offensive point now.
I feel like we've kind of eaten our words here, Avril, talking about how it takes teams, a few points to settle in before they can get that upwinder. And Rogue did it on the second point. Factory did it on their first score. I feel like we've been proven wrong that essentially this upwind point isn't as hard as we think it's going to be.
Well, I guess when you get to quarterfinal stage, people have well and truly settled in the tournament. They know what it takes to switch on. So maybe it's just that level up on day 3.
Appel with the disc. Some tight defense from Rogue, but she gets there. It's with Ethel now.
Yeah, Rogue are using that junk look to try and slow up Factory. As we've been with the upwards. Those overthrows do happen. Rogue get a short turn. We've got, as we spoke about earlier, Rhea Carpenter walking up. Really solid D-line handler for Rogue. As we have Brandon Lamb making the first movement. But Carpenter looks up across the screen to Healy. Centers. And fantastic pressure there. Great D from Factory. That is Sarah Ethel. Oh, she looks big. Not coming. Rogue again setting this junk look to slow down all of those shots just in front of the disc. Oh, slightly risky one, but gets through the carp. Factory, plenty of fakes. Slightly overthrow again. So Rogue's pressure really forcing those early turns for Factory and a short field to work with.
So a slight overthrow there from Bronte's sleeve. We have Rhea Carpenter picking up the disc with no mark. She can do whatever she wants right now. So she throws a nice centre there to Tar. And it's a run through D from Caitlin Grange. She's settled down though. She's let her team move down the field. There's Blackburn, there's Appel. Sorry, that was Sleeth to Appel. Back to Sleeth. Here it is with Blackburn now. Nice gainer down this side of the sideline. Back to Grange. She's looking to dunk. There's Blackburn.
Rogue transition to match defense now.
Sleeth now knocking towards this close sideline. There's a bit of miscommunication in terms of a bit of a poach. I think that's Blackburn there with the disc. Within about 10 metres of the end zone, Grange providing a great under on this close sideline. They need some movement. Rogue protecting the space perfectly. Appel provides an inside option. There's Ethel. Oh, perfect Factory. Score there goes to Kate Bailey.
Factory using the break side to their advantage. Once they got the breakthrough, the continuations were on, and the stack staying really disciplined to, stay in position and time those cuts really perfectly. So Rogue, plenty of pressure, both on their junk as well as when they transition to match. But Factory, Caitlin Grange with that fantastic run through D. So Factory just really getting into the game now. Hopefully Caitlin Grange can inspire the rest of her teammates to really amp up that intensity.
You see that was Caitlin Grange to Ethel. I think so, Kate Bailey with the score.
All right, so Factory with that hold now. Rogue still up a break. And it's going to be another upward defensive point. Do you reckon we might see a bit of a junk look from Factory to slow things down from Rogue?
I mean, I think you have to try. If you've played, match a few times and you're not getting the turns that you want, you have to change things up, and that's either changing up with the force or by putting on some junk. And especially considering they are going slightly upwind, that is a phenomenal pull.
Rosa Wang, well done.
But we're seeing match.
And that's, Maddie Owens cops one to the face, but still manages to catch a disc. Upline to Chung. Chung looking long. Why not when you've got Pigeon in the space? But one door just manages to get the block. Takes 2 bites to make sure of it. You would have thought Chung to Pigeon was a pretty reliable one, but Wang just getting in the way on the back of a fantastic pull to get the point started.
Almost looked like Pigeon was going to have a second bid on it for a second there.
Yeah, Wang doing really well to make sure her eyes were still on the disc despite her first effort going pretty well. And they isolated Wang downfield again. Thea Osmond just working out where the line is. Chung marking her. Plenty of pressure around the disc for Rogue. But Factory get it off. And looks like there's a foul called.
Looks like Shannon Bubb might have provided a little bit too much contact on that one there with Grace Spratt. Not the best angle for us to be able to make a comment on this one, I think, Avril.
No, but you've got Steve Baker, the game advisor, right there, ready to step in if the players ask him for a perspective. Looks like it's retracted foul from the hand signals. Well done to use those to make sure everyone knows what's going on. Yep, so it looks like the possession will be with Rogue as that turnover stands.
So Eunice Chung walking towards the disc. Interesting thing about Rogue's offense here is they keep setting up without a dump.
Yeah, they're really liking the 6 stack, aren't they? And the movement generated from the
trying
front.
to isolate Maddie Owens there, which works perfectly for them. Just a quick front of stack, open space cut. Looked like it was a break backhand around.
Yeah, you'd back Eunice Chung to throw those ones. I mean, if you cut off the around, she'll just throw the inside. So difficult one to stop. And Factory not managing to apply too much pressure to Chung just yet, but we'll look to see if that changes. So Rogue 4-2, up the 1 break at the moment. Both teams doing really well in the slap upwinder with those small ball game.
Still very early on in the game though. It's only had 16 minutes in, and I believe it's a 100-minute time slot.
That's right, for the quarterfinals.
So still plenty of time for Factory to work it back to, try and look at different options, different plays, different defensive strategies and see what they can do. So I don't want to discount Factory out yet, and I think Rogue are probably going to do the exact same thing though, to try and bring this gap out further. Yeah,
for sure. I think we've seen Rogue, like you mentioned, use that 6 stack to their advantage, so the cuts coming from the front of the stack. If that one's not on, they've got a break side option, and then they've got kind of that inside option too. So look to see how successful that structure is for Rogue as they put on another junk defense. Apple has to retreat slightly backwards to Blackburn. Looking through something through the cup, just get a little dishy through. on the close sideline to Grange here. She goes for a sweeping forehand cross field to Apple. So Factory trying to use the width. Oh, fantastic attack on the disc here. Just to advance a few meters through the cup. And again, through the cup. So Factory using that to their advantage, trying to spread the defense by the sideway passes, which opens up those options through the middle of the cup. And now coming around the side, Caitlin Grange again on this far side. There's not a lot of movement upfield. So Grange goes for a quick 1-2 with Blackburn. And Apple working hard, although goes for a safe one across. So Rogue doing reasonably well to really keep Factory pinned back, although now they work it up to halfway. Oh, and a lovely over the unfortunately, the receiver just not able to get hands under the disc, but it was a fantastic look, kind of through / over the cup there.
It was a perfect option. The execution of the throw just wasn't there, but the option was perfect because had it come off
to the races,
Factory would have had all the space to work with.
Yeah, as you see, Rogue now, Bex Palmer really marching this offense, and a big one goes up. I think Chua's in pursuit. Hannah Monty's in the space. Hannah Monty. Oh! And that's a fantastic layout, but looks like it might have been a ground strip. Fantastic effort there.
I believe that's Dos Santos Lee.
Dos Santos Lee again. She's already stepping up in this big game. Hannah Monty reading that pretty well. The disc just faded out towards that sideline, made it a very, very difficult grab for Dos Santos Lee, but can't fault the effort there. Apple brings it up on the far corner, sweeping across now. So they're using a combination of trying to go around and sideways, which has on a few occasions has managed to open up some holes through the cup. Again, this one's a risky one. Grange v. Tamas. We'll just see foul called. Looks like accepted foul, so possession will stay with Grange, but there's a violation potentially, or a foul called on the throw actually. Yeah, so foul on the, so there was a foul on the receive and then a foul on the throw, but both of them were accepted fouls. So Grange will maintain possession. Oh, a lot of
contact.
Yeah, contact from Palmer. Hannah Monty, lovely blading forehand, pinpoint. So Factory advancing up the field now. Grange staying in the back space, but just a slightly low throw for Ethel there. And Rogue get it back. Can see them setting up. Looks like it might be a horizontal look this time. I suspect they might be looking for a long shot. So Eunice comes across to Palmer. Rogue cutters working hard. Thomas gets the slice across, fakes the big. Now, fantastic D from Caitlin Grange, just to run through, and she's now off. Coming back. So Factory showing they can get it done. And a big call from the sideline for Rogue to go to match. Big one goes from Grange, but that's a little bit too far. Whoa, the Monty not giving up on that disc. Whew.
Monty getting on her guts for that one.
And that is already, in this point, 5 turns in total. So this one, a little bit of a grinder. It's going to be a pretty big point to win, I'd say, Oakley.
And it always is. When you have these long points, it's crucial to win it because you want the success, the feeling of success that comes with grinding it out. As we see a massive put there from Janacek. But Factory coming down, Bronte Sleeth absolutely pushing that one to the ground.
Yeah, unfortunately for Rogue, they had 2 of their players. And another D.
An overthrow there as they're trying to bring the disc back to Appel, and they're giving it back to Rogue. Close sideline about halfway down the field. Janacek bring it in. No dump again as we're seeing from Rogue. Bex Palmer, nice down the line. She hasn't got many options. Goes the over top hammer. Oh, beautiful. Monty couldn't quite get there.
Dos Santos Lee, I think that's goal number 2 for her. Doing it in that deep space, reading that hammer really well. I think Factory going to have to shut down Bex Palmer because she's in everything at the moment.
You see that hammer over top.
And apologies, that was
Angela Lee
with the score. So Rogue spreading the stats across the board. Dos Santos Lee with a goal. Same with Angela Pigeon. 2 for Owens, 1 for Lamb. Assists 3 coming from Chung, 1 from Palmer, 1 from Analai.
So I think I figured out now what we're seeing now with the Rogue offense. They're setting up with their primary handler picking up the disc. They don't have a dump in the dump space. However, what they have is front of stack, providing an immediate down the line cup. So as we see here, stats up. We have had a fair few turns in this so far. Factory with 11, Rogue with 9. Rogue with only 1 clean hold. Rogue have taken 50% of their break chances. 50% of their break chances, and Factory have not broken yet. So very interesting stats, and we appreciate having Katie Locke on board here doing stats for us so we can provide you with these numbers throughout the game. A little bit more insights into the way the teams are working, who the teams are relying on a bit more.
Yeah, I think for Rogue, the usual culprits are really lighting up the board. As the game progresses, we'll see who from Factory can stand up. We've seen Hannah Monty there with quite a few really solid defensive efforts. But as you can see, she's also got some weapons on offense as well. So we'll look for her to stand up and try and inspire her team.
I agree with you there, Avril. So we've got Carpenter coming out with the pull for Rogue. Factory need to get this one though, because a 6-2 is quite a large deficit to have to come back from.
Yeah, definitely. You can't really let a team like Rogue get a couple of early breaks because they're just going to run away with it. So we have Apple here on the disc. That junk looking good for Rogue, slowing things down. 1-2 is Rosa Wang, but massive pressure from Brandon Lamb for that run-through block. Again, Rogue just managing to keep their intensity a little bit ahead of Factory. Carpenter picking up a lovely inside flick. Unfortunately, Healy just can't get to it.
Bit of roll though. A large amount of roll on that one has meant that Factory have lost ground.
Yeah, Caitlin Grage having to do a fair bit of work now for Factory. Coming across to Rosa Wang. This junk really working quite well for Rogue to slow things down. Thea Osmond all the way to the other side of the disc. Now to Susan Deadman, a little 1-2 just to reset. There's holes there, but Factory just aren't utilising them. I think their downfield cutters are just too far away, really. They need to adjust when the disc is moving. So Rosa Wang, plenty of fakes. A lovely inside lefty shot to Thea Osmond. Again, there's no continuation, so the connections really aren't going too well from the backfield to the upfield. Rosa Wang has to attack that one to ensure it's secure. So working around the backfield now to Kershaw. Plenty of fakes to open up that inside shot to Osmond. And just not a lot of movement, which means that Rogue's zone are able to just settle into place, not having to adjust too much. Really stalling Factory as Thea Osmond goes for a big shot to Hot Monty, but that blading shot has just got too much heat on it.
We've seen time and time again this weekend, Avril, that we are getting caught on this sideline, and that blading forehand, you see the open player and you think, I can hit that, that's a great option. But with the way the wind is wreaking havoc right now, it just blades and it's dropping far too quickly.
Yeah, definitely. We've seen it both from Rogue and from Factory at this point already. So it looks like we might be in for another grinder, Oakley. Couple of turns already. Carpenter all the way in her defensive end zone. Again, the bladey throw goes to the turf as you called, Oakley. All right, so a slightly shorter field for Factory to work with now.
Correct, slightly shorter field, which should hopefully mean there's less running involved right now if they can make it nice and clean. Osmond with the disc. She has Grange going up the line but doesn't use it. Appel going up the line, doesn't use it. Wang coming back, looks her off. Finds Nandan there. On that close sideline, centres to Osmond. Tries to look break but doesn't have anyone providing an option. Goes back, tries to go give go. She's looking for the around. She has Wang on the inside, on the open side.
And there we go, Factory. They were staying really patient in that red zone. That was really well done by their offense. Interestingly, they started out with a six-stack like Rogue, but you know, their first, second, third, I think maybe even their fourth look were all covered really well by Rogue. But still, kudos to Factory to staying patient, to stay in touch with this game.
That's correct. Kudos to Factory for grinding that one out. It's really difficult in those long points to stay motivated, especially when you can feel the fatigue in your legs setting in. We're day 3 of the tournament. Day 3 of the tournament, you can start to feel the fatigue setting in, and at this point in time, those longer points are hard to grind out.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, this one, I think a couple of turns for each team there, but patience really is a key here. And plenty of love from the chat on YouTube. We've got Zyra Jane cheering Rosa Wang from Alice Springs. Welcome, Zyra, to the stream. And if you're liking the LTTV, get around our crew. We've got Mikey, Rexy, Katie doing a fantastic job on the cameras, bringing you beautiful ultimate on a beautiful sunny day in Ballarat.
Hello to our viewers online. Thanks for joining us. There's Katie there, doing great work.
We've got a big pull. That's decent pull, really pinning Rogue back on that sideline. But Maddie Owens getting a lovely gainer. Rogue still looking very disciplined as a big hop goes up, and Monty gets in the way for a fantastic block ahead of Pigeon. Factory get things going quickly via Grange and then Osmond. You can see Monty trying to sprint deep. And an overthrow here by Factory after all that hard work. Well, won't be happy with that one. We've got Chung from Rogue walking up to the disc. Their offenses just look so disciplined. Factory asking for extra chat from the sideline, making sure that they've got that extra information. Chung and Ruiz, 1-2. Again to Ruiz. Can they get this continuation on the break side?
No mark on Ruiz there.
No.
Monty's settling in now.
Right, so crossfield we've got Owens. A couple of Rogue players getting each other's way, but Chung gets across to that break side. Oh, and things are looking a little messy from Rogue. Not quite as disciplined as we've seen them earlier in this game or in the other games. Finally, they find Latamados. She'll be looking to tidy this up. Pigeon just attacks the cone, although there might be a call.
Yeah.
She looks suspiciously free.
Put on the line, I think, is the call.
Not in, right. So Pigeon on the doorstep to Maddie Owens, but a huge block by Hannah Nandan.
Clutch.
That was massive. The receiver from Rogue just slowing down a little bit, and Nandan just amping up for that last sprint.
And that's the thing on those types of cuts, is you're coming towards the sideline. The receiver has to slow up because inevitably they have to try and toe the line. The defender does not have to do so. They just have to get the block.
That's it. Oh, as we see another sweeping shot from Factory to open up the field, that side wave movement. Nandan going up line. Ooh, to Monty, who grabs that ahead of Ruiz. She goes for a big shot, but blindsided.
Schmidt with the disc.
And Schmidt just on the doorstep now. Oh,
Grange.
to Grange. There we go, Factory. Way to get that score after a couple of messy points. They'd be happy to secure that one to keep in touch 3-5.
Whilst we're just taking a little break after that great score there from Factory, we've just received some updates there. Ellipsis are up 6-4 on Chaos on the other field. 6-5, sorry, on Chaos. So a tight game over there, and Chaos doing well after that pre-quarter win.
Yeah, definitely. Coming up from the bottom of the pool, I mean, really turning things around when the crunch end of this tournament.
Not quite sure exactly which Ellipsis team it is, whether it's ampersand or asterisk. Apologies, so we can't quite give you that ampersand. We just got the word there. It's ampersand and Chaos playing on the field just behind us, so we'll try and bring you those updates as we get the numbers coming in.
So apologies, the score for this game is Factory 4, Rogue 5. Factory managing to peg a break back after going down 2 early breaks.
Which is great. We discussed earlier, Avril, that letting that score blow out a little bit can be difficult to come back from. Factory have ground this one out and have got 2 in a row now, which is great for the confidence as they're coming in from what we're calling a downwind point. And that pull is huge.
Look at the air in that one. Barb having to wait for it to come to her. Centers to Chung. It's a horror set up again. Couple of receivers, but they managed to work it out. And then Wang! Wang head blocks the dig.
Head.
It's like a soccer header. That was amazing. Owen's not there to take a stress. And Wang again, a big arching lefty backhand sails out the side. Oof.
Oh, I thought Factory were going to bring that back there. I can't believe that D. Rosa Wang, she had her hand out, but looked like she just misread it and it bumped her on the noggin.
Yeah, I think that makes a difference when your sideline are giving you that information. They would have been calling her name. She knew that this was in her vicinity, managed to get her arms and legs. As Factory, the intensity ramping up. Hannah Monty, big shot, but Bob outreads the receiver from Factory this time. Schubert was in the space, but Barb just managed to get her body position in front to affect that throw. So it's an interesting contrast. The very first point of the game, Rogue managed to have 1 throw offense, right, to hold. And the last 3 points have been a couple of turns from both teams. You can see the intensity, both teams really wanting it. And there we go, Factory Schubert getting the block back to make up for that previous sequence. And we've got Liz de Hoog, some senior personnel from Factory going to pick up the disc. Factory again, that 6-stack. They've got Rosa Wang going first, Hannah Monty second. Hannah Monty, she's looking forward. Oh, that's an overthrow behind her, Liz de Hoog. That's really disappointing for Factory as they try to get in position for defense. Rogue work out quickly. Eunice Chang, big game coming today. Pigeon Lim, but Monty beats them all. She immediately goes for another long throw and gives it straight back to Rogue. So both teams looking for some long options at the moment, but the connections are not quite there, Oakley.
We tend to see this happen, Avril, after we've had a few turns. Overthrow! Eunice Chang!
Fantastic layout grab! Making a team look good.
Angela Pigeon. Oh, the look was there. The option was there.
Just mats the disc, just bounces off the glove across to the sideline. Liz de Hoog now having to start in that back corner of her defensive end zone. 6-stack, we've got Monty and Wang. First 2 cuts to go. Wang gets up, fakes the big, wants something under. Even Lim provides on the break side, but there's a call. The disc looks like it's coming back, a travel called.
So as we see on these long points, Avril, the disc starts getting forced to options that might not necessarily be there because we're just trying to end the point a bit quicker, which actually, ironically, makes the point go on longer. So Rosa Wang with the disc, Chung coming in on the mark. De Hoog getting very close into that dump space, but there's Lim on this close sideline with no mark on as Owens is now setting in.
You can see the frustration
De
on
Hoog
her face.
going down the line, close sideline, surveying the field with her options. There's Lim coming back into the dump space. Monty providing another option, little dishy back. She's going back around. Wang coming through the center of the field. She has looking at what's available. De Hoog there in the space. There's Monty. She has a few options deep, and she unleashes it. There's Schubert, who goes around. Oh, overshoots. Overshoots Marine Schmidt there.
Sense a little bit of frustration from Factory. You saw a couple of, grimaces, a lot of hand gesturing. I think, potentially some of the downfield cutters perhaps not sticking to their, set plays and structures. And you can see, there was a lack of continuation on that break side as a timeout is called, and unsurprising Oakley after a few messy points.
Unsurprising, it was going to happen eventually. It just was who was going to be the person or the team that pulled the trigger on that one. We've gone, don't know if we had the stats on the amount of turnovers that we've had so far. We might get Katie on and discuss that with us.
Yeah, absolutely no surprises that this point so far has had the most turnovers out of any point in this game. So we're currently at 5 turnovers per team. And we're seeing that the total passes so far this point are... Oh, here we go. We've got some stats on the screen as well. So yeah, you can see that Rogue have got 2 breaks. Yeah, the turns. Pretty equal in terms of turns. Rogue have just managed to have a clean hold when Factory haven't. And break chances, Rogue's had more opportunities, but they've also converted 1 more on those breaks. But in terms of within this point, there's been 5 turns per team. And yeah, Rogue starting on offense and they're back on offense again. So in terms of passes though, it's interesting. There just hasn't been as many passes per team because we're seeing that they're getting the turns after sometimes only 1 pass, 2, 3. Whilst previous points, the last point with the most number of turns was a break from Factory. Oh, no, there was a break from Rogue actually. And that one had far more passes from Factory before the turn.
Yeah, definitely. I think both teams, I would say that Rogue is slightly sticking to their structures a little better. Their discipline is a little better. Whereas Factory, it's looking messy. The connection between the backfield and the downfield cutters aren't really happening, and they're having to work harder to score.
So as we see here, Rogue have set up on offense, Factory coming out on defense. It's a very short horizontal stack, which looking at that, Avril, and Hannah Monty sitting deep, I think they're going to try and put a long one to move the disc away from that end zone space quite quickly.
Ooh.
Bit of contact.
I think 2 Rogue receivers, both Bub and Owens, making sure that the disc was still in possession.
Shannon Bub holding her head there. So Bub with the disc. Currently, there's the mark setting in. Looking for options, Pigeon providing something, goes back to Chung on this close sideline, Pigeon down this close line. She's trying to find an option, trying to find a dump. Letta Mardos working hard to try and get free. Nice around dump to Letta Mardos. There's Maddie Owens now. Pigeon was going deep, but is looked off. Ruiz in this close sideline still in the back half of the field.
Factory's
Stagnant
pressure. Yeah, Factory's
downfield.
pressure doing fantastic to cover those unders.
Bex Palmer back to Owens now. They're in their half of the field. Oh, there was a bit of movement, a bit of contact there between Chung and Lim. As Bex Palmer still just, was there a call or not? Bex Palmer's provided the under.
Yeah, so Factory's intensity is stepping up, really covering those under easy options for Rogue. And I think Hannah Monty, just sitting out the back there, deterring those long shots. So certainly making Rogue work a lot harder at this point.
So Bex Palmer with the disc, very tight mark there. She puts the around backhand up to Pigeon. Has Bub providing on the break side cut, but overlooked. Back to Chung now. She's got Letta Muddles coming up, overlooks her. 2 break side cuts, finds Owens on the open side. Bit of crowding on this open side. Bex Palmer goes up. Bobbles out of the hand. She tries for the second, but it's out of field.
Yeah, that disc just bobbed up a little bit high for Palmer. She went up. She had a sniff at it, but Owens, that throw, she would have liked to take that one again.
It was great offense from Rogue, although it was seemed a bit intense. It was very calm. They took the open options. Factory need to emulate, try and keep that calm offense as they're bringing it up, as we see Schmidt with the disc. Centers to Monty. Monty unleashes, pulls the trigger, but Maddie Owens was under it. It was a bit of a flat huck there from Monty.
Yeah, a little bit too flat, getting pushed down as well, slight downwind. But Maddie Owens, great heads up and awareness to take that block pretty easily in the end.
So Rogue setting up in a horizontal. They have Chung, Ladamatos and Bub back. Ruiz there, finds Pigeon on this close sideline. Owens in the center of the field, about 10 meters out from the end zone. Chung providing the dump cut is overlooked. There's Ruiz providing another dump cut, overlooked. There's Palmer knocking on the end zone door, no dump. Oh, overthrows Ladamatos, and there is another head block from Evan Lim.
Yeah, a couple of factory defenders in the space. The disc just lifted a little bit up ahead. Even Lim luckily just recognises it before she cops one to the face.
Disc is with Schmidt. Oh, nearly overthrows DeHoo. Great hands there. Back with Schmidt. DeHoo going down the unleashes. Monty's deep.
She's got the read. She's got the read. Hannah Monty doing it in the end zone ahead of Ruiz. Factory will be very, very pleased with that one. Stay in touch. 5-all. So they've managed to get the 2 breaks back. We're back on serve.
And we discussed earlier in the piece, Avril, that we'd expect to be seeing Hannah Monty in that deep space a lot. So I'm glad to say that we called that one correctly.
All yours, Oakley.
And so we've just received some updates here that Manly are up on GWS 5-3. We have Ellipsis Asterisk up 8-2 on Fuse. Oh, sorry. Manly are up 7-3 on GWS. And Asterisk up 8-2 on Fuse. Those are the other quarterfinals happening on the other fields right now.
All right, so looks like we've got a timeout again. As we see Hannah Monty on the stat sheet, couple of blocks and a couple of extra defensive efforts, I would say, that probably generated, a couple of those turns, as well as that fantastic goal in the end zone, just out-reading her defender.
So great work there from Factory to bring it back 5-all. We discussed that Factory needed to work hard to bring it back because they didn't want the deficit to blow out, and they've done extremely well in tightening their defense.
Yeah, definitely. And you could see the times that they've got it on offense. They've got their experienced heads. They've got Liz DeHoog often picking up the disc. They've got Monty and Wang generally being those first 2 options and really safe options, because when you get their disc in their hands, they're able to throw most things. So really the senior leaders for Factory stepping up to the plate and getting those 2 early breaks back to make it 5-all.
As we saw the stats just flash up on the field before, it's very even in the stats department from both teams now, which is not surprising. We've seen lots of turns, we've seen breaks, we've seen holds, we've seen clean holds. It's all evens on the scoreboard, almost bringing it back to, 0-0, day dot, start of the game again in a way.
Every point 0-0, right?
So Factory coming out on defense, going in the very pseudo upwind way right now. The wind has really dropped off, which is making for some perfect conditions right now. A little bit of Factory taking a little bit of time on the line there. Setting some tactics, no doubt, Avril.
Sideline is really quiet at the moment, hey?
It's very quiet.
Yeah.
It's been really loud previously.
Both teams kind of getting a little serious and really focused.
Osmond, great pull. Janacek to Chung. The loose mark on Eunice Chung is preventing some of those bigs. Oh, great grab from Pigeon. She goes back to Chung. Looking at her options downfield. There's Janacek again. Pigeon, she's looking!
Oh, what a layout grab by Pigeon! Way to go, Rogue. They would have really, really wanted that clean offensive point, and did they deliver?
That was a great look from Mercedes Janacek there. She had this open sideline, As we see there, the cut, she puts her defender on the back foot, gets it. Angela Pigeon recognises, peels off the back. The throw was probably a little bit more flat than she would have liked. Pigeon read it perfectly though, not afraid to put her body on the line for her team.
No, definitely the Rogue O-line getting things done. You've got Chung just marshalling things off. You've got Owens working hard. You've got Janacek working really hard in this last point or two. And as we see Rogue's D-line, Bex Palmer getting ready for the pull. Be interesting to see if we get a few scores down this left side end zone now after we had a few on the right. So Factory, we've got Grange stepping up on the line. Ethel.
I think the pull sailed out over the top of the media tent, Avril.
Just over our tent here. So it's a bit of a short one to get things going for Factory. So the noise starting to increase a little bit from the sideline, but seems like everyone's got their game face on, really.
Factory opting to not take the brick, taking it from the sideline. Massive, massive flick from a pal there. Just hits Kate Bailey, but it kind of flicked off her thumb, it looked like.
Yeah, I think the float on that disc, it meant that Bailey had to kind of sit under it. She would have been able to hear and feel that pressure coming from from Rogue behind her, which probably made her go up a little early, but Factory do well to get the turn back. Apple running to the disc. It's a big match call from Rogue. Across to Grange, she'll be looking to make something happen. And a lovely little inside to Apple as she goes up line. But again, the connections between the handlers and the downfield receivers for Factory, just a little stagnant. She's an overthrow, and Rogue just picked that one off.
Dos Santos Lee getting big on defense. That was Dos Santos Lee who provided the pressure for that initial turn there on the huck. And she's been getting big. She's been really stamping her name on the backfield defense.
Yeah, really smart positioning and heads-up awareness. Love to see that attack on the disc.
Janacek to Chua, now on the far sideline. She's pointing, trying to find an option, tell what she wants. She goes up the line, trying to look for Bex Palmer, but Caitlin Grange, she comes down with it. Palmer throws the big, she's got two deep.
And who else? Dos Santos Lee.
Dos Santos Lee not quite in though. She's looking for an option. She finds Helen Epstein there. That was a great grab from Bex Palmer. A great put. She had two Rogue offensive players streaming deep with no defense. Read it perfectly. And I think what was great about it as well was that she didn't focus on trying to milk the disc into the end zone. You focus on possession before position.
Yeah, absolutely. And Rogue, they get that break back. So up one break, 7-5, just after Factory managed to get those two breaks back on even score. So Rogue showing that they've got a next level despite Factory taking it up to the plate.
And clawing back in those ones, Avril, can be quite fatiguing. You have to work really hard on defense to continue to claw those ones back. And that's when the opposition offense can then put the foot down a bit more, which creates slightly more pressure that you probably weren't wanting, because you had to work so hard to get those breaks back and break even again.
Yeah, so Rogue, I think, will be pretty pleased that they've been able to take the wind out of Factory's sails. Factory now having to dig deep to match Rogue's level again.
And they certainly have it in them. They can do it. We've seen it before. We can see it again. Great pull-up, fielded by a pal to Blackburn there in the centre of the field. It's a little junky look again. Overthrows Ethel there and fielded by Carpenter. Rogue really moving the disc quickly. Branda Lamb now with Tar on this close sideline. Back with Lamb. She has a few options. Everyone's a lot of movement. Bit of contact there from the mark. Healy provides an option but says, don't throw it to me. Throws the hammer. Carpenter.
High count hammer. Factory do well.
But
might be a call.
there
Maybe
was-
a stall.
there was a D from Bronte Sleeth, but I think there's potentially a stall out between Brandon Lamb there and Apau. Lila Apau. Steve Baker coming in, providing some perspective, rules clarification. It was great factory D.
Yep, it was. Forcing that high stall hammer, which is, low percentage. Let's see the outcome of this call. So Factory showing that they are indeed able to step up another level to match Rogue. They'll be hoping to not just match Rogue's level, but try to push through to the next one and force Rogue to have to rethink things.
It's interesting if it's a stall out call, but the throw's got up and been a turn. If you retracted the stall out, would the turn
Play
stand?
stands. Yeah, would have to check with our game advisors, but it's looking like the turn does stand. Although whether it's in the end zone or from the center of the field.
From the point where the throw was taken.
Yeah. Looks like they'll be taking it from the end zone, so that play will stand.
Factory taking their time to bring the disc up. Lila Appel there.
Horror set.
Very active mark from the Rogue defender. Oh, cheeky around flick to Ethel through the center of the field to Monty. She bobbles it but holds it. There's Lila Appel again doing the work for Factory. Ooh, Grange. She's surveying options. Appel getting every second disc, stamping her authority on this field. Blackburn on the far sideline. Needs something through the center of the field. There's Hannah Monty, overthrows Monty.
Again, the handlers and the cutters Factory just not quite connecting at the moment. So they're getting the opportunities, but their offense is just not quite in sync and not quite in flow, which is really killing them. Opposite of Rogue, who are looking in flow every time they get the disc.
Factory handlers doing a lot of work, the downfield not just quite as connected with them as you were saying there, Avril. Whereas you see Rogue, every time the disc turns, they have a lot of movement downfield. There's Lamb now on the far sideline. She's gearing up for something. Overthrows.
Picked off by Factory. A big call from match from Rogue. Apple again, as we said, was really championing that offensive endeavor previously. No mark. Get it back to Appel. They're really wanting it in her hands at the moment. She's probably going to be the one to create. Just little resets. Now Carpenter puts a little bit of pressure. Factory having to retreat back by Blackburn, but now Grange moving up, trying to assert herself. Very stagnant upfield looks at the moment, making the Rogue defender's job a little bit easier. She goes a big to Hannah Monty. Can she outread? And Monty again in the deep space. The head of Evelyn Ha. Ooh, and Apple really standing up in that point despite the lack of options downfield, just getting those little resets until something opened up.
What we were seeing from the Factory offense there was they weren't providing enough undercuts and under options, and it was quite stagnant. Hannah Monty dominating that deep space, as we've seen time and time again. She gets the front position, and she didn't even have to work hard for it. She just let the disc float in, and because she had the front position, it meant that the defense just couldn't get a hand to it.
Yeah, definitely. She managed to read the disc, almost boxed out her defender a little bit, just to make sure she got her shoulder in front to allow the disc just to fall in front of her without the defender managing to get any attempt on that.
So as we see here, stats for Hannah Monty, 2 goals, 2 blocks.
Oh, doing it big in big games, Monty.
And as you said earlier, Avril, that we'd see her on both sides, D and O, doing lots of work there for Factory.
Yeah, so the Factory players stepping up. Apple, Monty, Grange getting in there. Let's see how much they can continue revving through. As we said, every time Rogue have challenged them, Factory seem to be able to match the intensity. They'll be really looking to try and gear past that now. making sure they ask Rogue the question.
That's a nice pull. Ladamados to Chung. Rogue needing some, Barb with Schmidt on her heels. Chung coming back. Nandan, massive mark. It's intense out there right now.
Rosa Wang! Wang with a massive block. Just reads the disc ahead of Barb and Factory. Grange goes for a big shot. Who else? To Hannah Monty. But the fence just beats her at the back.
The photographer is doing it again at the back of the field.
Really earning his keep this weekend.
He really is. I'd love to see that D again from Rosa Wang. She was following her player deep, peeled off as she noticed the throw was going to go up and came back under for the run through D.
Yeah, Factory are working really well as a team on defense. Offense not really feeling quite like the same, so we'll just see what happens. If they can continue this defensive intensity, they're going to get more opportunities.
So Chung with the disc. She finds Owens there. Grange nearly closed in on that one. Dumps straight back to Chung. Chung wanting to move the disc quickly. Overthrows Janacek.
Great effort by Janacek to go for that diving layout to try and save it, but that defensive pressure from Factory Flash, they're doing well to get these opportunities. All they need to do, just settle down, go for easy options, keep working. Maybe they'll just get this break back.
So Osmond has Nandan, overlooks Nandan, finds Grange on the inside. Wang providing a break dump. Nandan now on the dishy down the line. It's a really big mark. She wants to go the around backhand. She finds Wang on the around backhand. Osmond providing an undercut. I think there's been a pick in the field. The stack though. Being resolved. Disky staying with Rosa Wang. There's a bit of discussion about what's happening with some player positioning, I think between Nandan and Janacek there.
So as we have a bit of discussion, we've got some updates from the other fields. So the other quarters in the women's division, we've got Manly up 8 against GWS on 4. And Ellipsis versus Fuse, Ellipsis dominating 9-3 there. In the men's side of the draw, open side of the draw, Outbreak and IBIN on 7 each. So that one's going to be a tight one to watch. Mammoth up 8 against Crank, who are on 5.
Thanks for those updates, Avril. It's always nice to know what's going on in the other fields so we can at least try and predict what we're going to see later on in the schedule. Disc has come back to Nandan on the far side with Mercedes Janacek on the mark. There's been a little bit of positioning changes downfield. Disc has come in. Caitlin Grange,
Outstretched hands, the gloves weren't quite sticky enough to secure the disc. So again, Factory's intensity generating the opportunities but unable to convert. They'll be really wanting to get an early turn, so they've got a short field to work with on this one.
So Chung bringing the disc back in now on that far corner.
Can see Hannah Monty setting herself up to cover any of those deep options.
Owens puts it up. Slight underthrow there. Couldn't quite find Ruiz.
So Factory probably going to work it up from about half field now. Just going to come in with Osmond. Setting up in that 6 stack. So both teams using that strategy. Grange and Nandan, the first 2 options. A big one. Monty in the space. Just bounces out of her hands. Just blading in a little sharply there.
And she would have had it too. She had the space, she had the positioning. Great put from Osmond. What we do see happening time and time again, though, is that with the way the disc is spinning, sometimes you can't get your thumb under the lip of the disc to secure it, and it bounces out.
Yeah, and that is 3 turns each per team for this point. So we've got several grinders in a row. Rogue movement.
Monty!
Oh, Monty! A third block on the stat sheet for her. Grange coming across to Schmidt. Back to Grange. Factory, there's a lot of movement at the moment, but no clear open option as a pick.
Downfield. That's potentially why there hasn't been as much movement, because it's been stifled by a pick. We can see the sideline building as well. It's getting quite busy because it's a great game we've got here. Grange went to go the inside flick, but there was a bit of contact. I think a foul called on that one from Ruiz on the mark. Looks like the stall count's going to reset at 0, or 1, sorry. We've got Osmond in the dunk space and Nandan kind of in the lane, but she's clearing out. Hannah Monty's going for the around break. There's Susan Deadman coming in. Grange coming through again. Osmond providing an up the line. She's, whoa!
Oh, Osmond just manages to get that despite a lot of pressure from Rogue. Woo!
If we see the replay there as well, that's the body awareness from Thea Osmond on that one. She went up, and if we can get the replay here.
She had separation really early in the cut, but she got looked off. I think the throw came off a bit later than she thought. Here, she's very open
she
here.
Goes up and puts that right foot down first, whilst keeping the left leg high so that she maintained contact within the field before her body fell out.
That's right. Fantastic awareness. Oh, a lot of heat, both from the defender and from the line, so she did really well there. Osmond standing up in the big points. As Factory break back, and we're on 7-all on serve, Oakley.
Galaxy point here, as I believe we like to call a 7-all. So fighting for half. And as you said before, Avril, every time Rogue tries to put the pressure on a bit more, Factory rise to the occasion.
Yep. And I reckon for this one, if they can get the break here and get the momentum into half, I think Rogue are going to be a little bit deflated. They're a bit of a vibey team, you know. They're up and about when they're noisy and happy, but, you know, Factory need to ask them the questions. Ask if they can step up to Factory's level.
That's exactly right. It can be difficult when you have a little bit of a break, when you have that lead and that buffer, and then you lose it. It can be a little bit demoralising and hit the confidence a bit. So Rogue need to try and keep their spirits high. Ladder Mardos now finding Pigeon on the far sideline. Oh, she was gearing up for it but didn't put it. Has Ruiz on the under. She gets low for that one. Pulls the trigger to Bex Palmer.
And why not? Palmer, she's got wheels. She is stepping up for Rogue, making sure that Factory do not get on a roll, denying them the Galaxy point.
Clean offensive hold for Rogue, and that was honestly the point to do it.
Yep, so they've started this half with a clean one throw offensive hold.
So we have here Ruiz with the disc, putting it up to Palmer. Beautiful floaty flick out in front.
So Rogue starting and finishing the half very cleanly. As we see both teams come to the sideline, trying to regroup after that very intense half. I think both teams will be looking for a little bit more clean offense. We saw several points where we had in excess of 3 turns per team. One point when there was 6 turns for Factory and 7 for Rogue. There we go.
Here. 3 breaks apiece, 27 turns each. Rogue has had 3 clean holds, however. A similar amount of break chances, and as we said before, both teams have broken 3 times.
All right, so I think we'll head off for a bit of a break now as the teams try to regroup. Thank you to Ulti TV. It's great to be here on this beautiful day 3 of Div1 Nationals.
Mindful moments, learning ancient traditions. Golden hours spent pressing pause on time. Afternoons whiled away absorbing wisdom. And treasure hunts that never disappoint. Whatever brings you to Ballarat, you'll always return remade.
So welcome back after halftime here, where we've just seen Rogue take half on Factory Flash 8-7. I think Avril's got some updates from the other fields.
Yeah, so we've got Ellipsis v Fuse Ellipsis rolling through that game 13-4. Some comments from our roving reporter Simon Talbot. Ash McInnes has put the entire set of Queensland on her back and said, "We're not done yet." And Holly Reeve also doing it for her team. Manly are up 10-4 against GWS.
Some great stuff coming in. Thank you, Simon, for that intel. As we see Factory coming out on offense. Appel, no surprises there, doing the hard work. She loses a bit of ground there to Blackburn. Blackburn pointing. Move here. I need a cutter here. That Rogue zone clamping down, but they managed to find a nice through. Back to Blackburn. Grange coming through the center of the field. Appel with an uncharacteristic drop.
No, she'll be disappointed with that one. Rogue less than half a field to work with now. Setting up in that 6 stack again.
Janacek puts a lot of lip on that. Oh, but Bex Palmer brings it down.
And a sweeping crossfield pass to Dos Santos Lee, continuing her good form from the first half. Bex Palmer with an incredible grab, despite the lip and the win there.
That flick out into space there from Bex Palmer just slightly misses the hands of the Factory defender, Kate Bailey.
Bex Palmer can do no wrong at the moment.
She's having a pearler of a game. And I guess that's what you expect in these moments, in these games where it's high intensity, high adrenaline, the scoreline's really close. You want to see your senior players step up. There on the replay, Bex Palmer getting big over 2 defenders. And just perfectly waits to throw enough.
And Factory, you can see them putting on a fairly senior experienced line here. You've got Monty and Grange, as you'd suspect, and Thea Osmond as well on the line. They'll want to try and grapple back a little bit. You want to start the half, with a little bit of momentum here. So Factory will be looking to stall Rogue.
So Rogue getting the early break in half, which they saw earlier in the game as well. Rogue got the early break in the game, but Factory keep bringing it back. I want to see Factory get this one. I want them to keep this scoreline nice and close.
Yeah, I'd really like to see them try and tidy up that offense. I think the discipline just hasn't been there. The handlers are not really connecting with the cutters. I think the timing of the cuts potentially aren't quite right, and there's a lot of space being clogged, so the handlers are feeling a lot of pressure. And as we see, that is exactly what's happening now. Rogue really pinning Factory to the backfield. Grange trying to make a little bit of space there, just gets it across, and there's a big crossfield hammer to Monty. Safe hands there. Sends it to Appel with pressure from Angeline Lee. Oh, and a loopy one that goes outside. Is there a call on the throw, though? I think there might be a bit of chat here.
Potentially a bit of contact on the throw. I can only imagine, Avril, that's maybe not the shape that Appel wanted when she released that disc. And a little bit of contact can sometimes definitely change the flight path on the release, which could explain why that one had such an arc on it.
Yeah, and Anna Lai just putting pressure on that dump throw first and then immediately applying pressure on the throw from Apple. So really great defensive efforts from Anna Lai there.
We saw the replay on that throw. There's some potentially discussion there. Something from Hannah Monty that she wants to say.
Wanting to provide some
No, but there's been a retracted call, so it's the tourney's going to stand.
Right, so not what Factory would have wanted. Rogue with another opportunity. Rhea Carpenter, that D-line handler. Healy has a nice undercut. And she now turns to go deep. We've got Monty.
No surprises.
Lock number 4 for Monty as she looks to get things going. Apple working hard. Monty, dominator movement up line. She goes up to Kate Bailey. Ooh, a little inside to Granger, bobbles, but secures the catch. And now they're knocking on the door. Oh, Monty gets up high, Grange with the assist to Hannah Monty. Will be calling those combos a few more times today.
And we see here the celebration from Monty and the Factory team. We got the inside scoop that it's Lorna's Bar's birthday today. Happy birthday to Lorna. Long-standing Factory player. Celebration for her. Apparently it's her warm-up move, Avril. Getting those hips nice and
nice and
loosey-goosey.
limber. Yeah, absolutely. Nice and limber. And Factory looking to settle in and stay limber, hopefully for a couple more points. Let's see if they can peg back and keep in touch with Rogue. Every time Rogue asks a question, Factory have been able to answer. So here's to hoping for another one.
And you called it on the line there, Avril, that Factory were putting a lot of experience on that line, and one of the names that you highlighted was Hannah Monty. And it was absolutely evident in that point why she brings that experience. She got the D, and then she went and scored the goal. So nice bookends for that. I'm going to see if we can get the stats up here for Hannah Monty.
There we go. She's taking a spell on the line after that very well-deserved effort. 3 goals and 4 blocks. Really putting the team on her back.
So she's doing a phenomenal job in this game, and it's exactly what we'd expect. And we discussed it at the start of the game as well, that we're expecting big things from her. Chung, Latamados, Chung, trying to move the disc quickly. Oh, a little bit of a bumpy bump on the mark there. Here we go with Owens on this close sideline. Pigeon providing an under. She overlooks her, dumps back to Chung. Pigeon again. Rosa Wang doing great work in that, trying to poach off in that underspace. Maddie Owens are on the inside break. Chung trying to come back again. Nothing. Angela Pigeon is trying to move downfield. There's Barb. Oh! Angie Toe hot in her heels. There is a stall out called there. A bit of discussion. Oh, Avril, it's getting intense.
Definitely. You saw defensively Rosa Wang calling the switch with a deeper player, making sure that the smooth-flowing offense from Rogue was looking a little less tidy, which generated that high stall situation.
Bit of discussion occurring. Steve Baker getting ready to step in and provide some input if we need to. It looks like it's been a contested stall. So disc is going back to Owens. Disc comes in on 8. So there's minimal time to get rid of it. Eunice Chung is very, very close in that dump space. I'm expecting to see Pigeon, Ruiz, a few of them hitting the deep space, and Owens putting it up.
Yeah, you'd definitely rather turn it deep, but she goes for a safe little dishy to Chung, who gets free from Nandan. And Angela Pigeon, the dish just bounces straight out of her hands. Rosa Wang, quick huck, all the way. Can Nandan make up the ground? And no, she can't.
It was an ever so slight overthrow, though. Like, it considering how much ground Nandan had to cover there, Rosa Wang, they nearly got it.
Yeah, she wasn't too far off. Again, a slight downwind that way. Maybe just push the disc a little further than Wang would have wanted.
But the spot, it's definitely the point that you want to turn it in as well.
Definitely.
You want to move the disc quickly down towards your offensive end zone because you don't want to turn it and give it back and try and give them an easy score.
Yeah.
Latamados there, centers to Bub. She's got Angie Torre on the mark. Oh! That was a turf. Thea Osmond picking it up quickly. She's got Rosa Wang providing a car covered by Pigeon. A lot of frantic movement inside to Susan Deadman. Oh! She gets the bobble.
Second shot, Susan Deadman. Way to stay cool and secure that catch. That was off the back from some fantastic defense from Factory. You could see them bracketing, communicating really well so that they were coordinating who was covering it deep and who was covering the under, generating that overthrow, making that shot, having to squeeze into a small window. And Thea Osmond, a great throw. Susan Deadman, way to stay focused to score that for Factory. And I believe that's a break back. Is that right, Oakley?
It is a cracker of a game here, Avril. And as we have been saying, I guess the theme of this game so far is that every time Rogue try and pull away, Factory put their foot down on the pedal as well, and they claw it straight back.
All right, so let's settle things down
So
now.
Thea Osmond, we just saw there, 1 goal, 1 assist so far for her.
Providing very steady hands and very reliable in that handler space. Well done, Thea. All right, so Rogue got a pretty classic offensive line out there. Ladamardos, Pigeon. Oh, they've got Bex Palmer, who's a little bit more on defensive line, so maybe bringing her across to amp up the defensive intensity. She can do no wrong in this game. She's been running hot.
Blady pull, but honestly, it's the right option because it's going to roll a bit as it does go up the field slightly. So Chung finding Owens. She goes back to Chung. Up! It's gone. Up!
Oh, Rosa Wang picks it off. That throw just being a little bit too flat. As we see Factory make headway. De Hoog, nice under there to attack the disc. Lovely inside flick to Rosa Wang. And as we see Factory just getting settled. Hanamonchi just dips in and out of the hands.
It's a very intense point. Again, it's a very clutch point.
Yeah,
Chung
definitely.
walking towards the disc, nice and slowly, giving her team time to set up. It's a massive mark from Schmidt. She stepped off to try and stop all those options. Bex Palmer, there she is. She's got Ruiz on the open side.
Rogue do it again. So Bex Palmer coming across to the O-line, making sure of this point. You know, Rogue could feel that Factory were building and coming for them, and they say, nope, we got this. So let's see how we go. Still on serve at the moment, so looks like a few more, another O point for Factory, but this time in the downwind direction.
So now we're seeing a few goals being scored on the downwind point, on the downwind side of the field. Very uncharacteristic drop from Hanamonti there. The flick just, I think, bladed ever so slightly. It was quite low to the ground as well, and Hannah just couldn't get under it enough.
Yeah, I think you could hear Rogue calling a bit of the line. Bex Palmer doing double duty. She's actually on with Rhea Carpenter this time. Haven't seen the both of them on their D-line together much, but I think they'd want to power up this one to really carry more momentum, really quash that Factory comeback.
But Factory will be on the comeback train, and we've seen it time and time again. As we're seeing the pull go up now. Grange picking up the disc. Oh, she wanted to move it quickly, but that Rogue defense was right hot on her heels. A Powell now with the disc. Transition to match quickly. There's Ethel. Surveying her options. She puts the flick up. Bronte Slee.
Factory make quick work. A nice, clean offensive point for Factory to stay in touch and keep it on serve. They'll be pretty happy about that one.
Timeout being called from Rogue now.
As we see that replay, a really lovely gainer here up to Essel, identifying the open space. And as you see, the Rogue defender just not quite sticking tight and just out that little back pocket in the end zone there. All right, so as the teams take a bit of a timeout, we might as well and try and gear up for the latter part of this game. It's a really tight one, and another game to really add to some really fantastic games streamed by Ulti TV this tournament.
Just quickly here, we just have the stats for the game. So 10 all, 4 breaks, 31 turns each. Rogue doing slightly better on the clean holds. They've both had 10 break chances and they've only utilised 4. This couldn't be a more even game.
Not at all.
If we tried.
Not at all, Oakley, but I'm sure Factory will be looking for a couple more of those clean holds like they had this point, and maybe they might be able to get a little ahead of Rogue.
We did think we were going to get a quick break there, but it doesn't look like we are. Factory already have their line set. They're gearing up and ready to go, trying to keep their momentum.
No rest for the Wicked, and these teams are both playing wickedly at the moment. Let's see what they can bring. 10 or 87 minutes in a 100-minute game.
We are definitely hitting the tail end of this game now. However, the outcome is, your guess is as good as mine.
It will depend on timing, to be honest. I feel like if Rogue, keep pulling away just at the right time, it's going to be difficult for Factory to call. Like, if they want to win this game, they have to get ahead. They've been behind all game.
That's exactly right, but I definitely think they have the capacity to. We've seen that they can claw back and they can continue to break it even. If they just clamp down on that defense and play the clean offense like we've seen them do, they can certainly push ahead. Massive pull fielded by Helena Latamatos, centering to Chung. No surprises there. Angela Pigeon on the far sideline providing a big gain under. Maddie Owens coming through. There she is. Mark hasn't set in yet. She wants to send it to Chung but looks her off. Latamatos working hard. There she is on the up the line. There's contact from Osman. The D is there, but I think a foul may have been called. No. Factory with the opportunity. It's a turn. There's Grange on the dump. Monty on the undercut. Bex Palmer getting horizontal. Nandam working hard. She wants to dump the disc. Grange providing the dishy backwards dump. Deadman's overlooked. Osman wants the around, but the mark and break is too hard. She goes the inside to Rosa Wang. Osman still wants the break dump, but she's overlooked. Oh, there it is to Osman on the top side of the field. Schmidt. No, Monty comes back on the close side. Nice open. She throws the hammer over. Nandan's got it. Deadman's providing an option, but she's overlooked. Can't quite get the disc. Range is for behind, available for a backwards. Monty loses a bit of ground on that one. Osman coming back for the dump. The downfield is very stagnant. Monty going for a give-go, but it's not there. There's Schmidt. She provides the option. It's a bit of an overthrow. Picked off by Ruiz. Rogue bringing it back downfield. I think there's a slight travel call on Owens. Latamatos in the center of the field. Hidjen just ahead of Rosa Wang. Bit stagnant downfield again. Bex Palmer towing the line to keep it in.
Both teams wanting it, running it a lot. Thea Osman shutting down that up line. So Rogue having to come across to Angela Pigeon. Rosa Wang applying pressure on the mark. Grange is sagging in that lane, making sure that the flow doesn't come quickly. Latamatos fakes it big. Now across to Chung in the backfield. She'll be looking for a long. There it goes up to Owens. And Owens, acre of space, puts the pedal down and shuts Factory down. Wow.
Avril, I'm slightly gutted for Factory there. They did so much hard work to work the disc up the field, and they played such patient offense right up until that last throw. And it's not to say that that last throw wasn't a good option. The execution just of the throw, and in that upwind, as we've said repeatedly, the lip took and it sailed over the head, and Ruiz ate it.
Yeah, absolutely. Factory will be disappointed. They know that that would have been a golden opportunity. But what they can take is the positives from that point. The fact that they were really patient, really calm. They have, they're a lot more composed than they were earlier in this game on offense, and hopefully can keep, making good effort on those chances, because sometimes you might just strike gold.
That's right, Avril. So we just have some more updates from the other fields at the moment. So Ellipsis Asterisk got up with a 15-4 win over Fuse, and Manly are up 13-7 over the ladies of GWS. We can see that the game behind us, the Ellipsis Chaos game, is finished. I think the scoreline is 15-8. I'm going to assume that went the way of Ampersand, but I could also be wrong. We've seen bigger upsets this tournament, Avril.
Yes, what were you telling me this morning, Oakley?
It's been a tournament of unpredictability.
So we'll see if Factory can pull out another unpredictable result if you were watching early when Rogue got up ahead. A lot of pressure from Rogue defense. Factory just having to settle for a lateral dump. Slight forward by Grange, makes use of that break side space with a lovely inside shot. Again, Rogue just stalling Factory, making some small gainers on some really nice undercuts here. Let's see if that composure, they can stick fat. Grange working hard in the dump space. Big sweep across to Blackburn. Where's the continuation? A little bit late, unfortunately, for Factory. And a massive layup block comes from Rogue. Chua, the spirit captain, really lifting the spirits of her Rogue teammates on the sideline. You can hear the volume go up, the excitement on the field.
Massive block there from Rogue, and that will. Whoa! Caitlin
Grange! And she runs through the disc. A quick pick up, and Grange, can she go? Oh, just an overthrow the other way. Amping up the intensity, both teams. They really want it.
Took the words right out of my mouth there. I was about to say the intensity here at the moment on the field and on the sideline is massive. Both teams are getting rowdy, and you can see on the field how much they're wanting it with just how the blocks, the Ds getting horizontal, getting big.
Yeah, for sure. And interestingly on this line, you know, Grange really being one of their more experienced players. The others, it's just a team effort. And the team Factory, they get another block and another opportunity. Surely this is the one where they can secure it.
Open dump to Blackburn.
Massive gainers on the doorstep now.
There's Bailey with the disc. Duns back to Blackburn. Oh, it's a bit of an overthrow.
Oh, there's a foul called pretty quickly by Blackburn.
Chua getting in there. There was contact, as it always is discussed, because it did not look like Blackburn had control of that disc, but potentially the contact from Chua affected her ability to control the disc. There's been an accepted foul.
So Blackburn coming in the red zone. Factory been working so hard, and unfortunately that disc goes to the turf. So Factory again not getting reward for their effort just yet.
So disc now with Carpenter. Oh, she puts a lot of lip on it, but finds Dos Santos Lee. Very big mark there.
Great dump defense to drive Carpenter upfield. Chua having to come back.
Loses ground on that one. Chua directing traffic. Oh, Carpenter. That's Lee. Lee there coming through the field. Lamb now has a couple of options deep. She puts it up. A lot of lip on that. Oh!
Second effort by Dos Santos again stepping up.
Sleeth with the tip. But I guess, Avril, that is, you know, dare I say, is it Frisbee 101, catch your Ds.
Absolutely, that blade was coming thick and fast. Factory player had position, just bounced out of her hands. That's a heartbreaker for Factory, given that they got those early Ds and short fields and just couldn't convert.
Oh, you'd be devastated as well because she was under it. She was the first one there, just didn't quite secure her hand around it.
So Sleeth again, I think she'll want to try and take the positives from that point. She was in the space, their defense looked good. And what I was impressed about with this particular point was that it wasn't the senior Factory players, other than Grange on the line, you know, the Monties, the Osmonds. But yes, Brio Dos Santos Lee absolutely stepping up. She's been consistent all game, had some really good early involvements with 2 goals, 1 assist and 3 blocks.
When we saw Rogue on the stream yesterday, she wasn't a name that we called very much during that game, but she's absolutely coming into her own and stamping her mark, and it's showing. We're seeing her getting involved in every point.
Yes, and as we said before the game, Oakley, you know, even if you shut down 1 or 2 or 3 of the Rogue players, they've got more. They've got a deep roster. As Rosa Wang gets up high against Bex Palmer, that's a fantastic matchup. And across the field to Osmond, a loud fine call from Rogue, making sure that they're playing tight match. Oh, plenty of heat on every single pass at the moment. Ethel to Monty. Monty looking up. Oh, I think that might have been a bit of a hand block because that shape was a bit wobbly out of the hands. All right, so Rogue really surging up now. Setting up a horror set.
Tamas picking up the disc.
Oh.
Nice inside there. Getting on her guts for it. Evelyn Ha back to Tamas. There's not many options coming under, but Chua's providing one. Grange with the switch throw, which covers nicely. There's Bex Palmer. Oh, she puts the big. She's got Lee underneath there. Ethel chasing. It fades in the wrong direction, however.
So Factory now to take a breather. You've got Osmond, you've got Monty and Grange and Wang all on this line. So some senior experience, hoping to get it done for Factory. But Factory just looking a little bit slower now than Rogue. The Rogue intensity certainly dialing it up. Oh, and that's a high one. Ethel manages to get it ahead of Pigeon. As we said, a lot of heat on these passes. Osmond having to retreat back, goes across field to Rosenwang, picking it up off her shoelaces, and there might be a chat for an up down. Bex Palmer, who's on the mark, is confidently calling it up. Bex Palmer v Rosenwang, what a great matchup.
Oh, it's one I'd pay to see again, Avril.
Well, let's hope that Factory can extend this game a little longer, so we've got a little more candy on the eyes. Wang pointing, Deadman's coming across for the fill here. Perhaps a bit of a forced middle look for Rogue, slowing things down, having to do a lot of swinging. Yeah, that forced middle is really making Factory work.
Wang!
Up top, Wang. Oh, and Spice Thea Osmond, middle of the field. Let's see. She has a very low. They make it work. Thea Osmond with an inside-out flick to Nandan with the score. Factory settle in for this one.
That flick was a laser. It came out with so much heat. And it had to, because if there was any float to it, it would have given the defenders too much time. As we see here, the cross-field flick, lefty flick from Rosa Wang there. Thea Osmond absolutely identifying Nandan on the 1, 2.
Love to see it. Yeah, it was just such a quick disc. It really just zipped past all of those Rogue defenders, so they didn't have time to really react and set up, like you said, to bite for a defensive play.
Oh, that bobble though. It almost makes your heart drop when you see it.
Absolutely.
So great answer there from Factory. So Hannah Nandan seeing her scats, 1 goal, 1 assist, 1 block.
And
so she's still doing well, doing a really good job here for Factory.
And recognising that she's had quite a bit of momentum these last few points, she's back out on the line again, as with Osmond, Grange and Monty. So maybe shortening the roster a little bit in the crunch time, Factory.
And you can't blame them. Sometimes in these points you do need to go through your experience and your seniority, but you just don't want to tire those legs out, because if you win this game and you're looking further into the finals, you still need them later on.
Yeah, there's definitely a sweet spot.
Oh, Schmidt, that is a monster pull. Well and truly in the end zone there. Ladamatos to Chung. The Factory defense is doing such a good job at taking away those options. Chung cannot find something. There's Ruiz in the center of the field. She looks back to Chung, but Nandan doing a great job on that dump. Pigeon now. Monty on the mark. She looks to the around, finds Chung. Puts the backhand up. Is it going to go up?
Oh! Fantastic defensive play by Grace Spratt. Gets up high, positions her body well. You also had even limb just behind to make sure that there weren't any straps selected by Rogue.
So Factory with the opportunity now to break back and even the score. They had some great offense on that last point. I would love to see them work their unders and cleanly hold this one now. Thea Osman, Helena Latamatos on the mark. It's a bit of a deep stack, but it's worked for them before. The cuts are coming nicely. Nandan on a beautiful under. She's got a few options to look at. She dumps back to Grange, finds Osman on the far sideline. Nandan on a nice down the line. She's got a deep option, but overlooks it. Opts to dump back to Osmond. Oh, she unleashes. She's got Monty underneath it. Hannah Monty!
What a grab on the end zone line.
Schmidt to the score.
Way to go, Factory. That was fantastic movement all the way from the defensive end zone. Just that beautiful hut from Thea Osman. And why wouldn't you trust Monty as Rogue call a timeout, trying to stymie Factory's momentum?
Might take this opportunity to have a quick break just after we see the replay there of that monster huck, full field huck to Monty. And then she gets a nice assist. We're just going to get some stats here from Hannah Monty.
Must be about 4 blocks and, I don't know, 1 million goals or assists, as we've got Katie Locke with some special comments.
Oh, I thought I had special comments, but we're getting some clarification from our game advisors. Yep, and Steve Baker has now confirmed with some hand signals for us that this will be game point. It is game to 13. Whoever gets this goal wins the game. It has truly been an absolute heart stopper, and like you said, it still could go either way. And I bet these teams are going to use this timeout to put their best 7 players on the line to increase their chances of making it through to the semis.
Absolutely. We've seen multiple Universe points on the live stream, including the one earlier today. We had Melbourne Juggernaut with Hot Chili. Chili coming away with that win. So a second Universe one for today. Can't wait to see what happens, Oakley.
And that's exactly right. Multiple universe point games. And as Katie said, you put your best 7 on. And with the stats that we've seen from Hannah Monty so far, there is absolutely no question why she's out there on the field right now.
Absolutely not. And Nandan, I think one of their more younger players, I think this is her 3rd point in a row, recognising she's running on a hot streak.
Yes, that's exactly right. So Factory have to do the work here to get the D, however. Never a nice position to be in, Avril, when you're on a universe point and you know you've got to get the block.
And you can hear the volume increasing from the sideline. Both teams getting around their universe point lines. And no surprises, Rogues line, we've got Bex Palmer, Angela Pigeon, Latamatos, Chung, Ruiz, Maddie Owens. As Rogue pick it up, across to Chung. Chung to Ruiz. Oh, with some pressure from Deadman. Ruiz fakes, still looking upfield. Bex Palmer catching it under heat from Wang. And Chung now knocking on the doorstep, marked by Nandan. She's looking forward. Maddie Owens! And Rogue win Universe point against Factory. This game was an intense one. Rogue every time managing to lift the level. And that's heartbreak for Factory. They did so well to peg it back every single time, but just not for that last one. Another clean hold for Rogue.
That was phenomenal work there from the girls of Factory, and they should still be so proud of their efforts. Every time, as you said, Avril, every time Rogue tried to claw it away, Factory brought it back. So still such an impressive effort to get that far, and some amazing plays from them. Namely that massive huck that we just saw to Hannah Monty at the end there. Rogue have just done a better job at being more consistent in their offense.
Yeah, the clean offense really just looked better, and they were way more disciplined in their structures. You could see the connections between their handlers and their downfield cutters was a lot cleaner than Factory's, and that made all the difference. From a stats perspective, you know, that last Universe point, surprise, surprise, Eunice Chung with her 5th assist of the game, and Maddie Owens with her 4th score. As you can see, those break chances, Rogue just a little bit higher in percentage, managing to convert 5 of the 12 points. Factory actually had 13 chances, but because they could only break back the 5 times, that really got ahead of them. And, you know, the stats back us up. Rogue, 4 clean holds to Factory's 1. You know, when you get a clean hold, it just puts the pressure straight back on the opposing team. You could see Factory every time trying to climb to the occasion, just not managing to get it done on that last point. That's
right, and we're just getting some stats in from the last games. We had Mammoth get up on Crank 15-9. Manly up 14 on GWS. Not exactly sure if they're on sitting on 8 or 9 so far. I-Beam are up a break. I think the I-Beam game is on a Universe point as well. And we've just seen it come in right now. Manly took out the win on GWS.
Great. So shaping up to be some great semis. Not quite sure who's going to be on the stream next, but everyone on YouTube, make sure you stay tuned. We're going to have one of the Opens semi coming on at 1:30, so make sure you tune in from that. From Ulti TV, fantastic work from beautiful Ballarat. We'll see you at 1:30.
Always on the move? You can keep up to date with Ulti TV on all of our social media channels. Like, follow, subscribe, share us with a friend, or send us a message just to say hey. Thank you for supporting us in our mission to grow Ultimate everywhere.
Ulti.tv